burn it off. It'll just kind of come down and it won't affect the temperature if I'm kind of watching. But I know that if it does get too much condensation inside, it will affect the temperature because the sun won't be able to get inside your oven as well.
And I use a little different technique. And I just take a stick and place it right there and just, and that pops it open just a little bit so that the steam can't build up.
Okay, one of the challenges when you first get your sun oven, they talk about focusing your sun oven, and what that means is getting the shadows the same on either side. So when you're aiming into the sun, you want to get behind it and you look at where the shadows are. And if you've got your oven focused correctly, the shadows will be the same, and then the sun will go directly in. And it talks about the shadow in the front of your sun oven too, needing to just come straight down from the lip. And when I get it focused right, I constantly get like 350-degree temperature in my sun oven. And I've even on occasion got it up higher than that, but that's pretty typical for me.
She's better than I am. I sometimes get 350, but I do find that it takes longer for things to cook, and the more food you put in, the longer it's going to take. But some things, I love to cook things that I can cook all day. I might put pork roast in the oven in the morning, and then we have the late church. Right before we go to church, I might place potatoes on top. I would probably take this lid off and put a pie plate or something on top and put the potatoes in. You can stack dishes. Bread.
I do bread a lot. In fact, that was my introduction to my sun oven. And the reason that I got my sun oven is because I don't have a wood pile, I don't really like charcoal briquettes. I mean, all of these other things that I know I need to start using, I really haven't yet. With the sun oven, all I have to have is the sun. Okay, and so that was a real great selling point for me with my sun oven is that, and it's really light, it only weighs 21 pounds, and so I haul it upstairs if I want to do it on the deck. If I've got better sun there, then I take it down on my patio. If I need it, I haul it out. I mean, I'm all over around my house to get the best sun, but I don't have to light wood. I don't smell like a campfire. I don't have to use any of those things. It's just the sun. But that is its biggest drawback, too. I've had occasions when I've had my bread all raised, ready to go, and I walk outside, and there's no sun anymore, And so then I have to turn my oven on, and away I go. But the funny thing is, I actually like the bread that my sun oven does better than the bread that I bake in my oven. I don't know why, but there's something about the cooking in the sun that changes the texture and the flavor of it.
Can you only cook one loaf at a time?
2 loaves at a time.
Too. And that's the disadvantage for me. I like the taste about equal, but in my oven I can cook 4, and in this one I can only cook 2 at a time.
Yeah, I have to do it more often because it's like I'll cook it and one will be gone, 15 minutes later my kids will, their homing device will be on and they will have it gone. I've also done cake in my sun oven where I've used the pans that come with it. They're kind of an odd shape. They're just like a rectangular shape. And so you lay one this way on that tray, and then the other one goes this way. And I was really worried. I thought, oh, this isn't going to work. The one on the bottom is going to raise too much. But it worked out just perfectly. And in fact, just before I came here, one of my son's friends came over and said, when are you going to cook another one of those red velvet cakes in your sun oven? Because he just thought that it was so good. So you can stack pans like that. I also, at first I was really intimidated about the pans. I thought, it's got to be these pans that came with it, and I can't use anything else. And then I got over that problem. And I just started, rummaging through my kitchen and getting whatever pans actually fit in there. Just a couple of days ago, I used 2 of my Corningware pans. And I had one that fit on the bottom, and I put my pork chops in that. And then instead of having the lid that was raised this way, I just flipped it over, turned it the other way, put another Corningware pan right on top that fit on that, put my rice and my water in that, flipped the lid so that it would fit, put it in there, and it worked. I was like, I think sometimes we are too afraid to try things. It's like, what's gonna happen? I might, mess up the rice or something, or my kids will think, what did you do? But,
So
you know,
heating
yeah. So
to
it's
be
just
black, as they recommend, hasn't been that big an issue then, from what you're experiencing.
I really have not had that many problems. The biggest problem I've had is when the sun's gone behind a cloud.
Food doesn't burn. I haven't had anything burn in the sun oven. It's much more forgiving. It takes longer to heat up, and every time you open the door, it takes more time for it to cook. One other thing, if you're going to go to church or, be gone for a while, after you get it focused, then you turn it clockwise. You kind of get used to it, how far you have to turn it so that it's kind of central to when you'll be coming back home.
Yeah, where the sun is at the hottest part of the day. So I've used mine as a crock pot type of a thing, where I've just gone and left and I've come back and it's been fine. I've also, things will cook faster if you focus it more often, if you aim it towards the sun, and keep going out and checking and making sure those shadows are the same. I put eggs in there. I've cooked them different ways to see which I like the best, but actually the method that I preferred the most was I just saved one of the little paper egg cartons and I cooked eggs in that. No water needed. I've done it with water one time, but I actually, I just put a couple eggs inside of this thing. It took about 20 minutes to cook the egg and it was perfect. It came out just perfect. I boiled water and put pasta in there. And then pasta, I did some of that Go Food stuff when we had the Go Foods. And I bought one of their little, and I thought, well, what good is this going to do me if I can't use, if I don't have electricity in my house, I need some way to cook it. And so I thought, I'm going to give it a try. And it worked. And so
I've been pleased to play with it too. We're storing wheat and rice at my house, and it handles it just fine. It gets soft just fine. I've also done barbecue chicken. Perhaps you're getting to this. I remember from Joe training at Kitchen Needs to use 4 quart jars. Did you paint black? Were you going to talk about this?
no, go ahead.
Okay. You paint the outside black, and he has a little thermometer. I haven't done this yet. But you can heat your water and it will pasteurize it. So it's another way to get water purified and usable. And your sun is your fuel source.
Yeah, there's a little waffy that you can get, and you put it into, because the water temperature doesn't have to get very hot. I think it's like 160 degrees. It really isn't very hot, but they have a little device that you can put inside the water that you're heating up, and when the wax melts and goes down to the bottom, you know that your water is pasteurized and it's safe to drink.
Cool.
My very favorite thing is chicken in the Dutch oven, and I'll cook it with the lid on for a long time. And then I'll take the lid off for an hour or two so that it will brown. But the chicken is very, very moist. Any of the meats that I've cooked, I've been so pleased with because they are moist. And I don't need to put water. I just throw a pork roast or whatever in, and it doesn't require any water. And it's very moist.
I think our time is up, so I think we've got to go on to other people, but if you want to ask us questions after, is that the technique that we wanted to do? I think other people have things planned, so, but, we love them. Obviously, we're sold on them. They are fabulous. And my kids, whenever they see the sun oven out on the deck, they're just like, yes, yes, what do we get tonight? They're so excited, because it's just something fun and creative and just a new way to be prepared.
My name is Brady Byland. I happen to be the scoutmaster for the River Ridge First Ward, Troop 1 through 3. So I have the opportunity to take the young men out hiking. And the thing that we're thinking about is something that's light, something we can carry with us, be able to have hot meals on our route. But it's also another way of, too, is you can throw something like this into your 72-hour kit, so if you have to grab and go, it can be there, and so you can have a fuel source, something to heat water. This is called the jet boil. The great thing about this, it's all self-contained. This,
Can you say the name again, Randy?
a jet boil,
Oh, here it is.